What's up? It's Design Jedi, and I saw this article that was just super cool. The possibility of interstellar travel, starships that could take us deep into the stars. And I thought it was just so awesome because my love of Star Trek, Star Wars, and just everything sci-fi, from aliens to Starship Troopers, is just has been the forefront of my geek out ever since I was just a little kid. I've dreamed of going to space and followed what NASA's been doing my whole entire life, and I've been constantly disappointed because I grew up watching these shows, right? And like all this amazing technology that I felt like was just right within our reach is seemingly out of reach. That's why we imagine things, because what we have now, just going to the moon, or possibility of going to Mars, or sending space probes out to the sun, is all we got. And in my lifetime, there's nothing that's going to happen besides going to Mars. I would love to see us go to another solar system, another star. So the possibility of interstellar travel, and Interstellar as a movie was great. I thought that movie was amazing. So this is an artist's concept of what a futuristic starship would look like. You can check out these cool guns. This reminds me of the Sulaco from Aliens. Um, you know, if you haven't seen that movie, they have this huge, cool ship that they're all cryo-sleeped in, and it's got nuclear weapons and like missiles, as Hudson says. Oh man, that line, I swear, from the extended edition. You should see it if you haven't. So it goes on to talk about how our closest neighbor is Proxima Centauri, around which a possibly habitable exoplanet orbits just 4.2 light years away. So we don't know what's there. We have just observed that there's an exoplanet within the habitable range. So it could be like Mars, it could be like Venus. There is varying opinions on why Earth is the way it is, and if it's, common in the universe or if it's not. I would say it's very uncommon, considering what's in our own solar system. We're in just the right spot to have just the right amount of oxygen, that has just the right amount of water versus land mass to be habitable. I mean, that's an incredible thing. And until we find life on other planets, we won't know if life is common in the universe either. So I was watching this show last night on YouTube about the planetary guide to, or the guide to our planets, and it was talking about Mars, right? And how even on Mars there could be cyanobacteria, which lives in the hottest places on the Earth. It finds a way to thrive. So there could be organisms on Mars, and if we find them, then we know that life is very common in the universe, which would be an amazing thing. So we've always had this ultra romantic and pioneering spirit to go to the stars and to go to far off places. And so what this article goes on to talk about is all the various methods that can be used to get us to the next star, which I think is really cool. It goes on to talk about our fastest rocket, the Apollo 10, reached a top speed of 25,000 miles an hour. Fast, yet at that speed it will take us hundreds of thousands of years to get to our interstellar neighbors. The stuff we have now, the reason that we can't use it for interstellar travel is because of Zelinsky's rocket equation, which means that the mass of the ship, there's a certain amount of fuel that has to be on the ship for the mass, and that doesn't give us a lot of room to make our spacecraft. So we're going to have to come up with a new technology to propel us at a distance that is fast enough to reach our interstellar neighbors in our lifetime. So, proposing to do interstellar travel with the rockets we have now will require a tank larger than the observable universe. So what technology can be used to get us across 4.2 light years distance? It goes on to talk about we could use our nuclear arsenal by 200, which we could increase our nuclear arsenal by 200, which would detonate the bombs behind our ship and use that explosion to propel us forward. We need 300,000 bombs total. They would need, and you would have to detonate them over the next couple of months to reach 10% of the speed of light, which is the speed we need to reach to get to our next star system in our lifetime. So if we, in a month of detonations, we could reach 10% of the speed of light, and after conserving half the fuel to slow down, we'd reach our next star system in a little under 90 years. This is, of course, a one-way trip, and the humans that would left Earth would be the ones to colonize the new planet. That's a big deal, too, is the people that leave this Earth are not coming back, you know. They're not. I mean, they come back from Mars, but that's a 3-year trip, okay? 3 years, man. You land on Mars, you have to wait a year to get a window to get off of Mars, and if you miss it, then you're there for another couple of years. I mean, that's crazy. The problem of manned interstellar travel has various suggested solutions. Cryosleep, which we see in movies, artificial life extension, which is a possibility, a multi-generational ship, which reminds me of Fallout, or AI that would help raise human embryos once they arrived on a new planet, kind of like you saw in Alien Covenant and in Interstellar. Each has its own set of problems to overcome. Travel using bomb detonation was considered for the Orion project in the 1950s, though we currently are under a treaty that prohibits detonations of nuclear bombs in space. Besides that, fusion isn't the most efficient way of turning rest mass into energy. The most efficient method, near 100%, would be an antimatter drive. And we can make antimatter with particle accelerators. If you followed that whole technology, when a particle of matter and antimatter meet, they destroy each other and leave their rest mass as usable energy. They have 50 times more energy per kilogram of the fuel than detonating a nuclear bomb, like fission, which I think is really cool too. Which means a mere 10 grams of antimatter could take us to Mars in a month. Wow. That's incredible. Considering now it would take, what, 6 months? Or something like that. And the more antimatter we can make, the faster we could go, making the trip to Proxima Centauri as short as 3 years or so, which would be incredible. That would be a doable feat. You know, we take reusable oxygen, we take our own food, we raise our own food, and we could get there in 3 years, and that's actually doable. You know, and that actually would be something that, you know, I could see us, the technology I could see us working on. The problem, though, here is antimatter is slow, dangerous, and extremely expensive to make. Even just a small amount of it we need for interstellar travel is currently out of reach. The next technology they talk about is the light sail, and this was something that was used in Alien Covenant as well. It's a giant sail that collects sunlight and propels it forward with a laser, which is cool. We can, however, make a light sail capable of reaching 10% of the speed of light with the materials we have now. It needs things like, it says that is thrust from a huge beam of light that we blast from the moon. So it needs a huge laser on the moon to propel it forward. And the beam would be the equivalent of 100 nuclear power plants. We need solar panels around our sun to attain. The Breakthrough Starshot project, supported by Stephen Hawking, uses small starships that attach to a light sail, which would deploy from the main ship and then be repelled forward by powerful lasers that reach up to 20% of the speed of light. Finding powerful enough lasers is the main problem, but researchers hope to have a prototype by 2036. If it works, that would mean the Centauri system would just be 20 to 30 years away. Then it goes on to talk about how the problem with that, though, is the faster you go, the more likely you are to encounter things twice as big, only half as often. But traveling at speeds, such fast speeds, would make even very small space debris capable of damaging the ship. The next technology they go to talk about is my favorite. This is a commissioned renditions of what a warp drive would look like. Hey, Star Trek, where's the Enterprise? Yeah, this is hilarious. It's got Enterprise on it. And warp drive technology is really cool. They manipulate the fabric of space to propel us forward at seemingly impossible faster than light speeds. It's essentially an engine powered by a black hole. We could create a black hole by concentrating enough light in a small enough space. The Hawking radiation from the black hole would then provide our energy. 10,000 times the energy the world consumes, actually. We would also compress the matter using gamma rays to create the hole, throw in most methods the lasers that would have to be even more powerful than the resulting black hole itself. All right. Working a little differently than all methods mentioned as far as the Buzzard ramjet that gathers the trace amounts of gas and dust in space to compress them and use them as fuel for a fusion rocket at the rear of the craft. And so what that does is it just collects space debris and dust around it. You don't carry your own fuel. It creates its own fuel by collecting things from around it. The only problem with that, though, is, as luck would have it, however, the area in and around our solar system is particularly thin and doesn't have enough gas and dust to power it. So we're not in an area where there's enough of that we could collect to actually use that. In designing our ship of the future, there must be a balance between how fast it can go and how long it would take us to make it, a consideration called the weight calculation. We don't want to launch a ship full of people only to have them overtaken by a newer, faster ship in a few years. But we also don't want to wait too long. Saying we can't launch now because there'll be better technology next year is an excuse that we could keep using forever, but we shouldn't. After all, we only have 1 billion years to figure this out. What a crazy, awesome article. Holy hell. I am pumped. I mean, the fact that we could actually be getting closer to interstellar travel is an amazing feat for mankind. And it would also require, I think, a little bit of cooperation between governments to get there, which we currently don't have. You have China wanting to send its own manned mission to the moon. You have Russia wanting to do things. You have the United States kind of sitting back and, letting private enterprise take over space travel, which there's going to come a point where space travel is probably going to become privatized. And you're going to see the giant corporation be the ones that go to a new planet for financial gain, not for exploration. We have to get to the point where mankind is ready to leave its own planet and go to another solar system and have enough, goodwill that we're all on the same team. That's what Star Trek's all about. Like the Federation. Like a federation of planets, a government that with the further good of mankind in mind. But I thought this article was great. I'm going to link the article in the description below. Check it out. Read it for yourself. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and have a great day.